Hello, friends. Welcome in. Hello, hello, hello. So, we have an hour and a half today. I'll be on till 5. We are trying to help cover some time here. So Miss Lisa, who was on before me, she did an extra 30 minutes, and I'll be doing an extra 30 minutes. Hello there, Miss Amanda. Hello there, Miss Mary. Hello, hello, welcome in. So let me get myself shared. And all the good things. We are in the Creative Kinship event today, and it is Crafter's Choice. So, I have an hour and a half. So, I'm going to play. And I am going to work on a mixed media project that I've been wanting to do for a bit. Okay? And fingers crossed that it's going to work. Right? Okay. And y'all are gonna come along for the ride, I guess. Where did she go? I know I just saw her on here. Sorry, because I know that hopefully she sees me. Yep. Nope, maybe. I think so. Let me see. Okay. Hopefully now we'll get our friends all over here. Alright, I'm going to turn you guys down so I can show you guys what it is that I have on my table and what we're going to be working with, okay? Alright, so I know that it's kind of blurry. Hey there, Raven. Hello, hello. So, I have this set of bamboo rings that I got in at the Dollar Tree a while back. And there's 2 different sizes. We're going to work with the smaller one, okay? I also have these little wooden shapes that I picked up at some point at Joann's. I don't know if it was last Christmas or if it was when they were clearing out. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. And then I have this cute little paper bag that I got from TJ Maxx. And I absolutely love the design on it. So, we're going to be working with these items here and a few other things that we're going to sprinkle in, and hopefully we're going to get the result that I'm hoping for. So, we're going to work through the kinks together, and that's going to be fun, I think. So, I will be using the smaller of the 2 rings. And it does say that that one is a 5.9 inches or 15 centimeters. So if that helps anybody. And then this bag is what? Is a 10 by 8.5. When it's flat like this, and it does have this paper and all that. So we're gonna start by dismantling the bag, okay? So that's the first one. Hello there, Fergie. Hello there, Miss Lisa. How are you doing? Okay, so we'll save that because obviously tissue paper can always be reused, and same with the little ribbons from this. We'll end up saving it all. Hopefully. We'll reuse it at some point. And then I had started taking it apart here at the bottom, and so we're going to try to take the rest of it off as carefully as possible. And okay, and we'll go ahead and pull out that little board there. Save it, because you know we save scraps, you never know when you can use them. Alright, and then let's try to flatten this out. Alright, so I do want to turn this into a journal. Okay, so this is going to become a snow globe journal is the idea behind it, okay? So I'm going to be taking thank you, dear, I appreciate you. So we are actually going to go ahead and open up one of the sides, and let's go ahead and do the side that has the seam on it, okay? Because that would be technically, I guess, the weaker side. So I'm looking at the bag, and I know, and there's a flap, so I'm actually going to pull the flap out to make it a little easier to take apart. So sorry if you guys are not seeing everything, okay? So this would be a great way to repurpose a bag that, let's say, you received and you really, really like the design on it. So this would be a great way to repurpose it. So, I mean, I've cut bags up and used them to decoupage with, but this one's actually going to become the face of my journal, okay? So looking for that side that has the seam on it, and we're going to do our best to take it apart with as minimal damage as possible. So thank you guys for popping in today and joining. I hope that you have enjoyed the event so far. It does go on. We have several more presenters. Up after me is Miss Raven from Craftifornia Dreaming. She'll be on at 5 Eastern, so 5 my time. Okay. Now that we have this nice and opened, we can start constructing, which means that we need to build up what's going to turn into our book, okay? And I think I'm going to end up folding this up, just like I fold that down, kind of to hold it in. And the size of the actual will become the size of my book. What I need now is piece of something in it. So it could be cereal box, cardboard, whatever you have. So let me see. What do I have right next to me? Well, I have a box, a piece of a box. That would work. If not, I can go find some. That works even better because it's not as thick. So these are some pieces of chipboard, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to mark them where I need to trim them down. What did I do with my pencil now? Okay. So we're going to mark these so that we can trim them. And we also need to trim how long the piece is. So, how has everybody been? Everybody getting ready for Thanksgiving? Got any plans? Making any plans? I'm trying to figure out what we're going to be doing. Because my son will be off, obviously, and he wants to come home. I just don't know what that's going to entail as far as how we're going to get him home. So, because we're still down to just one vehicle. So, I don't know. We'll figure it out, I guess, right? I'm going to figure it out somehow. Because I would love to have him home. Just like he wants to come home for Christmas. I can't blame him because he wants to be away from home during the holidays. Especially if he can come home, you know. We don't know what next year's going to look like once he's deployed. Definitely don't think he'll be able to come home, so gotta enjoy while we can. Raven, will your baby be done with her training? Will she be able to come home for Christmas or for Thanksgiving? It's so hard when they grow up and decide to take these choices in life. You know, they're very honorable choices. It's still hard. It's still very hard as a parent, though. Alright, so let me see if I cut this properly. And everything's going to fold over. It looks like everything's going to be just fine. Okay. So we're going to start gluing. I really wish I knew where my Mod Podge was. Especially for big jobs like this. So we're just putting a whole bunch of glue and okay. I know I definitely know I didn't get everywhere. So I have a whole lot of it that's lifting up. But I'm also going to be ironing it to make sure that my paper is flat and doesn't have creases in it. So we'll be doing that part as well. And I'm actually going to do a little bit of surgery here because one of these sides, for whatever reason, cut all wonky. Like, what the heck? And I used my thing so it wouldn't cut, so I, you know, because normally if I cut with my scissors I cut wonky, but that's not always the case. Evidently you can cut wonky even with the paper trimmer. It's a little bit better. Book out of a bag. Yes, ma'am. How are you doing there, Miss Wendy? I am using a Christmas bag and I'm turning it into a book. I'll actually be making it into a one of my mixed media covers. Hey there, Cynthia. How are you, sweet friend? Okay, so now we're going to do this side. And I'm going to double check this because that other one was wonky. So I need to check these measurements again. But hello. So I have this crazy idea in my head, and y'all know how that can go. It can be utterly amazing or very, very crazy. But I want to do a snow globe journal. And I want this bag to be the background. So I am turning the bag right now into my cover for it. Like I said, y'all know how my brain works. It can be very crazy at times. So, Well, I'm glad that you are feeling better. That's always a good thing. That's always a positive thing. But, you know, definitely take your time, my friend. You know? Take your time and make sure that you get well. You know, I should technically be quote-unquote trying to take it easy from talking, especially with as much as my mouth hurts, but hey, you know what? It is what it is. I'm just grateful to be here. So, I went to my least happy place. Took my daughter to the dentist. At least this time it was for her, not for me. But I gotta end up going back because they got a lot of work they have to do now that that one tooth is out. Now they can start doing some work on the other ones. So, yay. Yay for me. Not really, but you know. It is what it is. Did finally get an appointment with a new neurologist, so that's good. They called me on the way to my daughter's appointment, and I go see them on the 18th. So that should be good, hopefully. At least trying to get back into some kind of care should be good. We'll see. We shall see. The last doctor was to the point where he was like, I don't know what to do, so that's what most of my doctors end up pretty much telling me. And get sick and tired of hearing the whole either, you know, well, if you lose weight, pretty much it'll all go away, or they give me the whole, you know, all your tests are normal, we don't know what's wrong with you. So, yeah, that's normally how my experiences go. Okay, we need a larger piece for that. So let's see if I have a longer piece. If that'll work. So yes, if you ever thought about it, you can turn pretty much anything into a journal. Anything you want to turn into a journal, you can turn into a journal. That's the way I look at it. Because remember, at the end of the day, the whole term junk journal comes from making a journal out of whatever junk you could find. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of the journals that we do nowadays are not junk journal. You know, because we use beautiful printables, scrapbook paper, things of that nature. But their foundation was to reuse things, so why not? Why not reuse, you know, maybe a Christmas bag that you saved because you love the print of it. You know, I save pretty much all of the Christmas packaging. Whether it be because I end up reusing it or because I craft with it. You know, it's one or the other. And the kids have pretty much gotten used to that, so. This thing is going to get on my last nerve today. I was just thinking, do I really want a spine that is this big? But it'll be fine. We can fill it with stuff. Do, 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 do. So does anybody have like Christmas traditions, or, well, Thanksgiving is also coming up, so any like Thanksgiving traditions? Because I totally understand why my sailor wants to come home, because after this year we don't know what's going to happen for the next few years around the holidays. So, gotta figure out what we can do. Alright, now, I am going to start, I'm gonna iron these, just so that I can get a good adhesion. So we're pretty much doing this from, you know, start to finish. At least I'm hoping we'll get through the bulk of the cover. We may not get into the putting the pages together, but I would love it if we can at least get the cover portion done. And like I said, I mean, we still have an hour together, so that should be plenty of time. I mean, I am a slow crafter, I do know that, so usually things take me a little bit longer than other people. But it's all good. So last night I started watching Once Upon a Time. Anybody seen that series before? It's something else, that's for sure. It's definitely a little bit on the, it's definitely out there. It's definitely out there, that's for sure. But I've been enjoying it. Of course, the evil queen already made me mad because she already killed off one of the persons that I liked. So, you know, I'm already mad. So I guess that means it is a good show. If it's already making you mad, right? I think that's an indicator usually, because that means you're vested in it, I think is what is said. Yeah, no, I've got glue seeping out from spots. That's alright. Again, thank you guys for joining me. I do appreciate it. What's everybody up to? Y'all working, crafting along, cooking dinner, I don't know, picking up kids. What's everybody up to today? Now, Cynthia says she's trying to take it easy so she can get to feeling better. Miss Wendy is usually still working. So this is what we have. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and use the folds that are already here to kind of just give me some additional support, but we are going to trim off some of the excess, okay? Oops, I definitely don't need to do that. Okay, so wherever there is a corner, you're going to want to miter it a little bit. I'm going to trim that down a little bit. And then here, wherever the joints are, you're going to want to come in and do a V shape. That'll help with the folds so that you don't have like a whole lot of extra. Okay. Now over here, this is a lot of extra, so thinking that I'm going to go ahead and trim it. Go ahead and trim it down. And I'm going to end up covering the inside, so even if this part is not like super straight, that's fine. We just want to have some of the cover lapping, you know, to where it wraps over the edge. Okay. Alright, so again, we're gonna come here, I'm gonna do that number, and then over here, we're gonna do the same thing. I am going to trim because it is way too wide, and we do not need that much. And again, I'm not worried about this being perfect because I'll end up covering the insides. Again, just making my V's right where the spine's going to be. Okay. And now we can fold over. Try to take some of this off. Okay. And again, we're just going to be folding, okay? And gluing. Fold and glue, fold and glue. That is what we're doing right now. So what's everybody doing this really nice hump day? At least over here, we've got the sun out. It is nice weather. It's not like super hot or crazy. I know that some places up north, you guys already are getting snow. Geez, I couldn't. I could not. I don't know how y'all do that. That's too much. Way too much for me. They already reported the first snowfall in North Georgia. Up in the mountains. And I'm like, hey. I'm glad I'm down here. I'm glad I'm down here. Other than the beginning of the year, which was a total fluke, because that does not happen. I don't see snow this way. Pouring, raining, ugh. Yuck. That's about as bad as snow. That's about as bad as snow. It was raining like for several days. Oh my gosh, I am so glad the sun is out. Because I do not like when it rains like that. You would think, coming from a tropical country where our winters are rain, I think that's why I don't like it. Because it would rain every single day. Ugh. So, yeah. I can do without it. I mean, I know it's necessary. I know it's needed for, you know, for the environment and everything, but yeah. Miss Kelly, I am up close to Atlanta. I am in Covington. I actually used to live in Savannah. When I first moved to the States, I used to live in Savannah. Yep, those used to be my stomping grounds, as they say. Savannah's beautiful. It's really expanded since I've left, but I love the old part of it, of course, the historical part. And I mean, I get it. I understand why things have to expand because of all the growth, but jeepers, it blew up. I remember when there wasn't anything out by Pooler, Richmond, Garden City, all that stuff. And honestly, you didn't go out that way unless you worked out that way. Now they've got got the Tanger outlets out that way, all the hotels, so many places to eat. Yeah, a lot. You're near Hinesville. Cool. Oops. I've been there. That's really cool. I need to figure out, because I've had a few people ask me to do like some meetups or retreats in Georgia. I gotta figure out where to do that. Yeah, you live 10 minutes from it. Cool. Yep, like I said, I know the area. My brother was stationed at Hunter Army Airfield. That's why when I first moved to the States, I moved to Savannah, was to be closer to him. The father of my kids actually still lives that way. Alright, so this is what the book looks like so far, right? So we've got the base of it, right? Obviously it needs a whole lot more to it. So we're gonna need to cover the inside. If you want this to be a whole lot sturdier than what it is, because you know, cereal box or very thin chipboard sometimes is not the sturdiest. You could do another layer if you wanted to, but I'm fine with it because I'm gonna end up putting cardstock on the inside. But let's work on the outside of here. So remember that ring that I was talking about? So this is what I want to sit on here and be my snow globe part. But obviously the wood, let's go ahead and get it painted, okay? So let's get that painted. I have oyster white, so just like an off-white is what I'm gonna want to use at this point. And we're gonna get this painted first. Where did my little thing go to? Yeah, I haven't been back in a while. I don't know. Said I really don't. I went for a wedding recently is why I was down there. A friend of mine was getting married. She asked me to come. So I did. Okay, that is being a pain in my rear. So we're going to get this one. There we go, that's better. And then you could paint this whatever color you want. Obviously it would depend on whatever background you have or you choose. But my choice is going to be like this off-white. Because like I want it to kind of blend with the background. Ooh. Yeah, I could not imagine living where there's a whole bunch of snow, like all the time. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's beautiful and all that, but I don't know, I'm sure you get tired of it after a while. It's funny because every time it snows, you know, other than this year when we had the 4 inches, you know, we've only ever had like dustings, and the biggest issue is always the ice, and people just don't know how to drive. I remember when Atlanta got locked down because nobody could drive in the ice, and there was, I mean, highways, cars abandoned for miles. It was something for sure. How's the feet? It's a good, what, maybe 10 years ago? At least this go around they were a little better prepared. But, you know, they still, everything was like shut down because this far south, that much snow was unheard of. So I pray we don't get any this year because it's been a wonky year already. You had to take a nap or would have fallen asleep. Hey, I understand that, okay? I completely understand it. I debated taking my meds for my pain, but I know what happens every time I take them. It makes me drowsy, so I will be taking them once I am done, because I have literally not had any since early this morning, and I need some. So once I am done, I will take them, because if not, I know I'm going to be out, because they knock me out. They make me drowsy, and so I just go to sleep. I'm like, okay, time to sleep. And I am very grateful that I can sleep. I have an amazing husband who works hard for the both of us so that I can be home. Of course, this is the last year we have a kiddo because she will be graduating this year. She plans to go to college, which is amazing. I'm super proud that she has made a choice, because for a while there, I wasn't sure what she was going to do. And while I don't want to be that parent, that makes the choices for you, I also didn't want her to just like not do anything, you know? Okay, so I'm trying to think of, okay, so I guess this side will be the side that I glue, so I'm not too worried about putting paint on that end. So I just gotta worry about putting it on this side. So again, I don't know if the Dollar Tree still carries these little rounds or not, but if you ever find the the needlepoint hoops, you could totally, you know, use one of those. So you know how they have the two pieces? They have the one that tightens and then the solid piece. So you could use the solid piece for this, and then you could keep the part that tightens and use that for a different project. Sorry you didn't sleep well, dear. Hopefully you'll get some better sleep tonight. I don't sleep much at night. I do most of my sleeping, honestly, in the morning. Other than on days like today where I have to get my daughter to appointments or I have to get myself to an appointment. Then that's different. Then I gotta wake up. But normally I don't sleep much at night. So for anybody who may just be popping on and wondering what in the world am I doing, first of all, welcome to my page. My name is Tamara, but everybody calls me T. And we are in the Creative Kinship event today. And on Wednesdays, it is Crafter's Choice. So I am doing a mixed media project and creating a snow globe that is going to sit on my journal. Hello there, Miss Patty. And now this thing doesn't want to work. Ugh, it does it every once in a while. Okay, I can move a little bit over. So that is what I am working on. I was also going through, while I was waiting to come live, trying to stay awake. I was going through little golden books, deciding which ones I want to keep to turn into journals and which ones I'm gonna sell or turn into kits. Something of the sort is what will end up happening to them. But yeah, so so far what we have done is we have taken a Christmas bag and we have turned it into the cover of our journal. Okay. You're constantly rolling. Ooh. Do you have like the restless leg syndrome or is it just like pain? Because, well, both of them suck, but yeah. I'm sorry to hear that. It is definitely not fun. Definitely not fun, for sure. Alright, so we're going to set this to the side since it needs to finish to dry. Okay. And let's go ahead and work on the inside a little bit. Okay, and for the inside, we're going to need a large piece or something big that'll help give it some stability. I kind of want to put fabric on it, but if I put fabric, then I'm definitely going to have to double this on it. So let me grab another piece. Let me grab some paper on here. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Miss Patty. Well, it was a Christmas gift bag, and so it got turned into a journal. But I need some cardstock. There we go. I found two pieces of the same color. That's what happens. Ooh. Well, I understand the fibro. So I got that. And neuropathy. Not fun. Yeah, I like that. That's gonna look really nice on the inside. And then we can always add another paper on here or anything else that we choose to. So let's measure this out right quick so we can cut these papers. Okay, so 9 5/8. 9 3/4. We're gonna cut them at 9 3/4. I understand the burning sensation. That is the worst. It is too short. I agree with that. It is way too short to be like letting anything keep you down, you know? Life is precious. We only have one life to live. That's why I have fought to advocate for myself to be off of a lot of the meds that they had me on, because I'm like, look, when my kids are telling me, you know, of things that have happened and I don't remember them because I was like a complete dang on zombie because of the medication you have me on, and I'm just like going through the motions like a robot, I'm like, that's not living. I would rather be in pain and know what's happening than not, you know? So I've slowly weaned myself off of several medications, and I am on some for maintenance, but you know, they don't take the pain away. They just make it to where I can manage with it. That's it. So, thank you, Miss Patty. I appreciate that. I agree. Healing prayers for all. Okay, so I've cut these down, and now they're gonna overlap over the spine, and I'm fine with that part. Wait a second, because I want the texture. Where are you, texture? Now we're gonna come up as close as we can to the edges. But you know, that's the biggest thing, is not letting anything keep you down. Always being grateful for what we have. You know, enjoying it. Hey, Miss Susan! How are you, my friend? It is so nice to see you. How is the weather in Denmark? Y'all, if you're not following my friend S&J, Miss Susan, you need to go follow her. I love watching her when I can catch her live. Good. Yeah, I've yet to find a doctor that will actually listen to me. So, Denmark is on your bucket list? I have a lot of countries on my bucket list. I just ain't got the bucket list money to do it. I just ain't got the bucket list money to do it, but I sure as heck got a whole bunch of places I want to go visit. Someday. Oh, I'm sure it's cold. We were talking about how there's, you know, several of the northern states already have lots of snow. And I'm just grateful to be down south where we don't have any. And I pray that we don't get any, because we got some earlier this year, which was like very rare. I think my husband said the last time that he remembers there being that much snow, about 30 years ago. Yeah, about 30 years ago when he was 20. So, yeah. So I hope we don't get no more snow again. I know it's beautiful, and I'll see it from pictures, and I've experienced it, but I do not want to live with it. No, thank you. I say my bones don't like it. My bones be reminding me that it is not my thing. You love the snow? Where are you, Miss Sheila? I always forget where everybody's at, so y'all forgive me, okay? Alright, there's a piece I want to put into this before I put the second piece of paper on. Okay. Where is my punchy? Yeah, I know there's people who love the snow, and kudos to you for sure. That is definitely not my thing. Alright, so I'm just going to pop a little hole. And that's just gonna help me so I can put this in. Indiana! Hey, Miss Sheila, that's what we say in Georgia too. We say that. We say that we can have all 4 seasons in one day. Because it'll be hot as all get up. So this is for me to put a dangle on. Okay. But I want to hide it, which is why I'm putting it on now before I put my second piece of paper on. So, last week you had 65 degrees, cloudy, then 40 degrees with, oh my gosh. Nope. No, I'm good. I mean, don't get me wrong, I want to visit as many states as I can, but I don't know that I want to be caught up in some hail and stuff, you know? That does not sound very fun. I remember the one time it hailed in Costa Rica. When I was back in medical school. Yeah, I know. 40s this morning, 80s noon, back to 60s. I know. And then watch if we don't decide to drop even more. Yeah, when I gotta go outside and call my cats in and my breath is smoking, like, when we were kids and we would go outside and we'd go like that, and if you could see your breath, we'd play like we were, you know, smoking or whatever. Yeah. That's no longer cool when that happens. I don't find it cool anymore. No, 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 no. No, thank you. I'm like, nope, nope. I don't find that fun. Not at all. And you're on tornado watch. See what I mean? Oh my word. Y'all be safe, okay? No, we've had some of those too, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm not used to for as long as I have lived in the States, I am not used to the weather over here. I still don't get used to it. That's kind of interesting that up in Washington, y'all are under tornado watch. I'd have thought the mountains kind of stopped that kind of stuff. But who am I to know, right? I'm definitely not Mother Nature to know what she will or will not do. I know, that's what I'm saying. That ain't something y'all supposed to be having up that way. Well, it's no different than, like, we ain't supposed to be getting what them things, hurricanes. Those things are supposed to be down in Florida. Like, why they come this far up? They need to get their GPS system right. Yeah, I thought the only place you were supposed to get tornadoes was in the middle of the U.S. Tornado Alley. Right? Where it comes down the middle of the U.S. That's what I thought. Or at least that's what, you learned. But recent years teaches you otherwise. Okay, so every time you are doing a straight putting in a piece of paper, you need to make sure that you come and you fold so that if this needs to retract, it can before the glue sets in. Okay? So that you have time to get that all where it needs to go. Yeah, go eat, of course. You too. You too. I will be getting off here shortly, actually, to let Miss Raven do her part. So I want to get this part finished and get my snow globe portion done so you guys can see that. At least that part. And I'll end up finishing the inside with the pages and all of that later, but at least so you guys can see what we are thinking for this. Okay. I love snow globes. If y'all did not know that about me, I'm letting you know right now. I love snow globes, always have. So I thought it would be fun to join my love for snow globes and journaling together. Alright, now where did my white piece go? Okay, so this is going to be what turns into my snow globe piece. Okay. And actually, let me fold this way so that hopefully it would sit a little more flat, but it's actually not. So you might actually need to go back to doing it this way. Alright, and then I have the pieces that I want to go inside of it. And again, these are just little wooden pieces that I found a while back. Okay. And I don't know if it was during Joann's clearance when they were going out of sale, or if it was during last year's Christmas. So, not sure. But I know it came from there. And it has all of the little pieces, which I thought was adorable. So we can have like houses, and we can have the reindeer and all of those inside. And then I'm gonna actually add some of like the fake snow to make it an actual look like a snow globe. But let me go get what's gonna turn this into a snow globe. So this is from last year at Michael's, but I noticed that they had it again. So if you want to pick some up, you can. And all this is vellum that has like snowflakes on it and such. Now if you don't have this, you can find vellum pretty much anywhere, it's like on Amazon and stuff. But you could also just use the plastic from like a container as well. I don't know, you know, it'd probably have to be a large container. But my thoughts were, if I trim it just right, it's going to look like there's snow falling. Right? So I can still have my images down here, and I still have the snow part coming down. And you would still see them in the background there. Okay? So vellum is opaque. Alright? So it has this frosted look to it. If you want it to be clear, okay, if you wanted your snow globe part to be clear, you could just grab plastic like what we have here, and we can use that on top. Okay, so either way will work. It's going to be completely up to however you want to make this happen. So So if you want it clear, okay, and again, like, I want this background, like, I want to see the background. If not, I would have covered it up, but I want to see that background. And then I kind of just want to add the trees and the house, and we'll put the snow there. The question is, you know, should it be clear or should it be the frosted? There's the dilemma. So I'll probably end up figuring that part out a little bit later, but I wanted you guys to see. So I'm gonna go ahead, and I'm actually not gonna glue it down just yet, just so that I can figure out the piecings. But for the bottom part, to make it look more like a snow globe, I'm gonna use air dry clay. And I'm trying to remember where I put my air dry clay, because I had it out for this project. So I want to use my air dry clay, and if you have molds, you can use it with your molds, or you could use your molds with hot glue too if you don't have air dry clay, and you can, you know, as long as your mold is silicone. Okay, don't put hot glue into a plastic one. Obviously it will melt. Okay, but if it's a silicone mold, and then you could make yourself like a little bit of a base here. You could even do something decorative up top if you wanted to for your globe. Okay, heck, you could even do, you know, like if you have something for like mountains or something, you could totally do that as well. That would be kind of cool, right? So again, all this is a piece of wood round. There was 2 different sizes that came from the Dollar Tree. If you cannot find that, then when you're out thrifting, look for the hoops for needle point, and you can take the top part off that tightens, that has the screws, and then you're left with this part at the bottom. Okay, and then find one that would fit the size of whatever bag you're using, or whatever kind of cover. I mean, you could do one out of a regular box if that's what you want to do. You don't have to do this on a bag like I did. I just liked the background, and I wanted that background. So and my whole, it's all going to be like, you know, the green woodsy Santa Christmas type vibe for this one. Very like old school Christmas is what the vibe I want for this journal. And so I thought that it would be really cool to do a snow globe for it. Okay, so that's my thoughts. That's what I plan to do with it. And I'll end up gluing this down and then using my clay pieces. I'll probably end up coming live again to show you the rest of this process, just so that we can continue working it together and you guys can see what I'm working on. But the inside is ready to go. All we have to do is get our signatures ready that we can sew in. Okay, I did add a space for a dangle, which means that my signatures are going to go right next to it, and then I have the space here for the dangle, because that's why I wanted to put this on first, so that I could hide it under the paper, so it's not, you know, super visible. But that way I have a spot for a nice dangle on this book. I think that'll look really cute. And once we, you know, fill this up, it's gonna look really pretty, because you'll be able to do like that and shake it and have the little snow move in there. That's the whole premise behind this idea. I do know that there's molds that do like a snow globe and all that thing, and I mean, if you have a mold like that and you want to make it, you want to pour it out of resin and then glue it on, totally do that. I'm just trying to use things that I currently have, and that made me think that I could do this. So hopefully that makes sense. But you'll end up seeing a lot more, like I said, clay work on this, and I'm gonna play around with the vellum versus the plastic wrap that this came in, or any plastic wrap if you have any, and decide if that's what I want to do, and then adhere that. So that's going to be on the front, and this will be glued to the bottom so that the snow can be on the inside and it can shake like a regular snow globe would, you know, so that you can have the little movement. So yes, I do like little snow globes. This was one I made recently. This one we actually added a light to it, so I don't know if you guys can see the light in there, but it's in there. And then you can turn it off and you have access to it. So, and it's some little animals. And this was a Dollar Tree globe too. And they do have them again this year, which is really cool. Alright, well, we are going to get ready to go and see Craftifornia Dreaming. We're gonna go see Raven. I always want to call her page the name of the song. I always want to say the name of the song. And it's not. It's Craftifornia Dreaming. So, that's what we're working on. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for looking at that. I hope it has inspired or intrigued you guys to try something and play around with it. My mixed media covers always take me a while to complete because there's usually lots of steps and I have to play around with things. But I am glad that you guys came along for the process with me, and thank you again to Miss Tanya for having this event and for allowing me to be a part of it. I really do appreciate that. Please go and support everybody else who will be presenting today in the Creative Kinship Event Group. It is a free group that you can go and watch, and every Wednesday there's a Crafter's Choice event, and then she does other events, but yeah, that's everyone. Thank you, Miss Tanya, and thank you, Lenora. I appreciate it. But yeah, I will be coming back on, and on another live, I will do the other parts so that you guys can see me put it together, and that way you guys can, you know, do it. But yeah, I've seen molds that do the snow globe, and some people do some really cool stuff with resin. But I just want to do it this way. I think it'd be cool to use what I can easily find, because molds can be expensive. So thank you so much again for having me, and let's go see Miss Raven. I'm excited to see what she's gonna do. And until next time, my friends, ciao, bye.